today's class. So in the last class, we have mentioned about amplitude modulation. Okay. So what is the definition of amplitude modulation? What is the definition?
A process that transmit message signal through carrier signal.
So that is true for any modulation. What is
Yes.
specific? What is the specifically about amplitude modulation? I told you last class. In the last class, message signal modulates the carrier amplitude, or you can also write like something like this. So the amplitude of the carrier changes or varies according to the amplitude of the message signal. This is simply called amplitude modulation. So you can verify here, isn't it? What's happening here? What's happening here? So the amplitude of the carrier is changing according to the amplitude of the message signal. Okay. So here we have something called mu. What is mu is called? It is called modulation index, or it is also called as depth of modulation. So typically mu should be less than or equal to 1. Okay. So if mu is more than 1, you get, what do you get? You get distortion. You get distortion. What distortion? Envelope distortion. Is it okay? Now, so let us proceed further. So we have seen 3 cases for mu less than 1, mu equal to 1, mu greater than 1. These are examples. Now for no distortion, mu must be less than or equal to 1. If mu is more than 1, it is over modulated, it leads to distortion. Okay. Now, so this is S of t, that is a modulated signal. That is AC into 1 plus Ka m of t cos 2 pi fc t. Now let us call A of t. What is A of t? It is the amplitude of the carrier. What is A of t here? A of t equal to AC into 1 plus Ka m of t. Okay. Now, what is the envelope now? Mod of this. What envelope? Mod of this. Correct? Now,
Yes, sir.
so if A of t is positive, which means if this is positive, okay, then what you can say? E of t is same as AC 1 plus Km of t. I can remove this mod because this quantity is positive, so there is no need of mod. I am removing this mod. So just E of t equal to AC into 1 plus Km of t. Now what happened? E of t is proportional to M of t. Yes or not? Okay, so now recovery of M of t is very simple, because amplitude follows message signal. Okay. Now, so now can you tell me when this will be positive? When the amplitude is positive, what a condition for positive amplitude? So here let me take amplitude of the transmitted signal A of t equal to AC into 1 plus Ka m of t. So when A of t will be positive? When it is positive, can you tell me? When
K m of t does not exceed 1.
Yeah, not Km of t, mod of it.
Yes.
And Km of t should be less than or equal to 1. Is it clear? So when this is true, then this is positive, which means E of t is nothing but A of t, that is proportional to M of t. Okay. Now here, so the amplitude of the carrier is positive whenever. So anyway, Ka is a constant. No, I am writing outside the mod operation. Ka mod M of t is less than or equal to 1. So this is a desirable condition. But we know already Generally, mu must be less than equal to 1. Okay. Now, generally, the formula of mu equal to Ka into mod of m of t. This is the actual formula of mu. Okay, please remember this. Okay. Now, so this is positive when Ka mod m of t is less than equal to 1, which implies mu is less than equal to 1. So mu is nothing but Ka into mod of m of t. But so anyway, this is mu is called depth of modulation. It is a unitless quantity. Okay. If m of t is am cos omega mt, then what happens? If m of t is single tone signal, some kind of sinusoidal signal, when m of t equal to am cos omega mt, then what is the mod of m of t? What is the mod of m of t? It's nothing but am. Then what is mu? Mu equal to Ka into am. So tell me, what happened?
Nothing, sir. KAAM. I'm saying that.
Yeah, I told you already. So this is a formula for mu when m of t is a single tone signal. I told you this formula already, but it is true. This formula is true if and only if m of t is a single tone signal. If it is not single tone signal, what is the actual formula of m of t? Mu Ka into mod of m of t. Okay. So if m of t happen to be am cos omega mt, mod of m of t is am. So that's why mu equal to Ka into am. Okay. So this is what I have written. Yeah, amplitude sensitivity into what is mu equal to Ka into am. What is Ka is called? Amplitude sensitivity. What is am? Amplitude of the message signal. Okay. Now, so mu equal to Kam only for sinusoidal message signal. In general, mu equal to Ka into mod of m of t. Okay. Now, so let us go to the another topic, that is calculation of mu. Okay. So we know the formula of mu. That is okay. Now, so we can also calculate mu from the AM waveform. Calculation of mu from AM waveform. Okay. How it is done? Let us look at this. Here, I have shown this is the waveform of the AM. So I told you this is the maximum amplitude. This is the minimum amplitude. Is it okay? Now, so what is the maximum amplitude of AM per single tone signal? Let me write here. So S of t equal to, I am writing directly, AC into 1 plus mu cos omega mt into cos omega ct. So here, this is the amplitude of this signal, right? This is the amplitude. Now, what is the maximum amplitude? E maximum. What is the maximum value of this amplitude? What is the maximum of cos omega mt? 1.
1.
So what is the maximum now? AC into 1 plus mu.
1.
What is the minimum?
AC into 1 minus
1 minus mu. Now, so from these two equations, you have to find out what? Mu. So you can find out, right? Yeah. So that is very easy now. Yeah. So this is the maximum. This is the minimum. So this is the mu formula from these two equations. What is the mu formula? E maximum minus E minimum by E maximum plus E minimum. Okay. So in the figure, so this is the E maximum. This is the E minimum. Okay. So this is the maximum amplitude. This is the minimum amplitude. So if you know these two things from the graph of the AM waveform, you can simply find out mu. So this is very, very important. Mu can also be found out by using this formula, mu equal to E maximum minus E minimum by E maximum plus E minimum. Okay. So what is this maximum minimas? They are maximas and minimas of AM waveform. Okay. Now, so that is one more formula. So till now we have seen two formulas, mu equal to KAAM and mu equal to E maximum minus E minimum by E maximum plus E minimum. Now, so there is one more formula also. So it is little bit different. That is, so actually what we have written the equation of AM. So if you remember properly, we written C of t plus Ka into M of t into C of t. Do you remember this? Okay. Now suppose if there is no Ka, generally what happens? S of t equal to C of t plus M of t into C of t. We substitute C of t, that is AC cos omega ct plus what is M of t? Let us take single tone signal. Then what do you write? M of t equal to AM cos omega mt into again C of t means AC cos omega ct. Now what is common here actually?
AC
C
cos omega ct.
Yeah, C of t. So take it common. AC cos omega ct into, now what is now? What do you get now in the bracket?
1 plus AM cos
One
omega mt.
1 plus AM by AC.
C.
Yeah, AC into cos omega mt. So what you get here is, if I write it properly, let me write this properly. You get AC into 1 plus AM by AC into cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Okay. Now, so let us compare with the equation that we know already. What is that? Actually, we know that this is nothing but AC into 1 plus mu cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Now what is mu now? Compare these two. Mu equal to what now?
AM by AC.
AM by AC. Okay. So mu can be found out using different formulas. Mu can be Ka into AM, or it can be AM by AC, or it can be what is that? E maximum minus E minimum by E maximum plus E minimum.
AM out of.
Yeah, that is from this one, right? So that is a basic formula. So from this only we get this E maximum plus E minimum. So depending upon given parameters, use any one of these three formulas to find out mu. Okay. Now here, so actually sometimes I am not writing this Ka, correct? So sometimes we neglect this Ka. Why? Because what is Ka is called amplitude sensitivity. What is the purpose of this Ka? Amplitude sensitivity. What is the purpose? So here we know that mu equal to Ka into AM. Mu equal to Ka into AM, let us take. So typically mu should be less than or equal to 1. What the job of this Ka is? Suppose Am equal to, let us take 2 volts. What should be Ka now? Less than 1 by 2 volts. Why? Because if it is less than 1 by 2 volts, I mean volt inverse, what happens now? Mu will be less than 1. So the job of this Ka is to make sure that you get mu less than 1. Okay. If Am is 3, what is Ka now? It should be less than 1 by 3. Okay. Depending upon Am value, we choose Ka so that mu will be less than 1. Is it okay? So this is a design parameter actually. This is a design parameter. We design our transmitter, our modulator such that depending upon Am value, we should able to get mu, which makes able to get Ka, which makes mu less than 1. Okay. So this is about value of mu. Is it okay? Now, so this is about single tone AM. So we have multi-tone AM. Multi-tone AM, that is self-reading. Okay, you read yourself. I'll give you simple example. Multi-tone means more than one frequency. Example. So I'll write like this. Suppose if I write cos 20 pi t plus cos 30 pi t. Here, how many frequency components are there? How many frequencies are there?
2.
2. So this example of multi-tone signal. Simple example. Okay, it has got 2 frequency components. That is, this is 10 Hz. This is 15 Hz. Okay. Now here, so what happens if m of t is having more than one component? You just take like this, sum of cos terms or sin terms. Okay, you take like this and you try to read on your own. Okay, this is very, very important. I leave it to you, self-reading. I gave you the logic, simple logic. Okay, so here what is mod of m of t? Suppose if it is like this. What is the mod of m of t? How do you find out?
By cos
So
t plus cos d formula.
Yeah, you find out. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so here that is example of multi-tone signal. You study on your own. Okay. Now, so let us get into the spectrum of AM signal. First of all, what is spectrum? What is spectrum? If you take the Fourier transform of any signal, you get a spectrum. Okay. Suppose you know already x of t. Am I audible? Please reply me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. X of t, you take Fourier transform. You get x of omega or x of f. Both are okay. Now, so this is the Fourier transform. It has got 2 spectrums. What are they? That is called magnitude spectrum and what another one? Phase spectrum. Here we deal with this magnitude spectrum. Okay. Now here what I am taking is consider an arbitrary message signal m of t with a spectrum m of f as shown in the figure. So this is the arbitrary shape of the spectrum. I am assuming that the spectrum of m of t is like this. This m of f. It is just an assumption. It could be any other shape. So for our convenience, I am taking as a triangle. Okay. So you can take any shape. It is an arbitrary shape I am taking. It depends upon what is the signal. But so in our course, I am assuming that the spectrum of m of t, that is m of f, is in this triangle shape. Okay. So what is the bandwidth of this signal?
2 omega.
Or 2 omega, only omega. Okay, so don't say it is 2 omega. So actually what happens here is, yeah, you can see here, you take sometimes students take that this is highest frequency minus lowest frequency, the omega minus omega, 2 omega. No, so you should never take negative frequencies. Actually, so if you draw the figure, it is something like this. Okay, I have already drawn here. Okay, now here, so let me take this is minus omega 0, this is omega. Okay, so this is m of f, this is f. So this is the maximum amplitude of this spectrum, that is m of 0. At 0, it has maximum amplitude, that is m of 0. So here, what is the bandwidth of the signal? Only omega, not 2 omega. Okay, so but you can ask me, so what about this part? Okay, so actually negative frequencies, they don't exist. Okay, there is no meaning for negative frequency. What do you mean by minus 2 kilohertz? Is it having any meaning? No meaning. It doesn't have any meaning. Okay, then why do you write so? You write for the sake of mathematical viability. What is that is, suppose you might have studied in your S&S course. So if x of t is real, if x of t is real, what about x of omega, mod of x of omega? How it should be? How it should be? It should be symmetric. Okay, so for the sake of satisfying symmetry, we write this negative portion. Actually, this is what the bandwidth. Okay, so 0 to w or omega. This is the bandwidth of this signal. Is it okay? Right? So we write this negative part for the sake of symmetry. If something is real, its magnitude spectrum should be even symmetric. Phase should be all symmetric. Am I okay? So always take only positive frequencies. Okay? Now, so this is the spectrum of message signal with a bandwidth omega. Or we can also call it as the highest frequency component. Need not be bandwidth. So we can also call it as a highest frequency component, that is omega. Okay. So in our course, for a symmetry purpose, whatever is there in the right hand side, same thing should be there in the left hand side. Okay, it is by default. If I say something here, if I write something here, I should write same thing here also, because it has to be symmetric. Okay. So this is about spectrum of our message signal with the bandwidth omega, or with the maximum frequency component omega. Okay.
Here, if the signal given m of f is odd signal, then also we have to draw that type of symmetric signal.
No, it is about, see, if it is about real signal, I did not say even or odd.
Okay.
Is it okay? I am saying if the given signal is real, I did not say even or odd. You're confusing. So that's why I told you to read the basics of S&S. If any signal is real, its spectrum should be symmetric. That is the meaning. Okay, you go and read. It is not about even and odd. It is about real signal. Generally, we transmit real signals, no? So by default, all signals are real. Obviously, the spectrum should be symmetric. Okay. Now, yeah. So let us get into the our AM. This is AM signal. Is it okay? Now, to get the spectrum, you should take Fourier transform. Okay. Now, this is what I have divided into two parts. AC cos 2 pi f ct plus Km of t AC cos 2 pi f ct. C of t plus Km of t C of t. Is it okay? Are you following or not? Okay. Now, so the Fourier transform S of t is S of f. I am taking f only, not omega. Okay. Both are alright, but let us go with f. S of t, Fourier transform S of f. Now AC cos 2 pi f ct, Fourier transform is what? I hope you are okay with this. What is that? AC by 2 del of f plus fc plus del of f minus fc. Am I correct or not? Okay, I am going step by step. Now, what is this? I told in the first class itself. AC into m of t into cos 2 pi f ct. That is called modulation property. What will happen? So, AC by 2 m of f minus fc plus m of f plus fc. Are you following or not? So, what happens here? This is a frequency translation will happen. So, the spectrum of m of t is shifted to the left side and right side by how much amount? What amount? By fc frequency. Yeah. Now, finally what do you get? This is the last thing is S of f. That is AC by 2 del of f plus fp, del of f plus fc plus del of f minus fc plus AC Ka by 2 m of f minus fc plus m of f plus fc. Right shift and left shift. Are you following or not? Okay. So you try to follow these steps. They're very simple. Okay. I'll share the PPT also. You can go through them. They're very simple steps. You can just look at them once if you want. Is it okay? Now. So here. Now. So here. This is. Let me take. Suppose C of t. What is C of t? AC cos omega ct. What is spectrum of AC cos omega ct? So if you take the Fourier transform to the cos term, you get two impulses. At fc, at minus fc. This is the frequency. What are this amplitude? AC by 2. It is also AC by 2. So this is m of f. Correct? This is C of f. What is this? This is C of f. Correct? Now this is finally S of f. Now what is this amplitude? This is the fc. So what happened here? This should be shifted to the right side and left side by how much frequency? fc. Suppose you shift this towards right side by fc. What do you get? fc shifted towards right side by fc. Now what this should be? fc minus omega. This should be fc plus omega. Correct? This is shifted to our left side by fc. This is minus fc. What this should be? fc minus w. This should be minus fc plus w. So what are these? They are impulses because of carrier. What's amplitude? AC by 2. It is also AC by 2. What about this amplitude? What is maximum amplitude? AC into Ka by 2. It is also AC into Ka by 2. But already it is having m of 0 amplitude. So you can simply write it is m of 0. Here also m of 0. This is the spectrum of AM signal. Okay. So what is just happened? Okay, let me write for your simplicity, for understanding. So here, if you remember properly, S of t equal to, I will write like this, C of t plus Ka into m of t into C of t. Is it okay? You take the Fourier transform. S of f. How it will be? C of t becomes C of f plus what do you get here? Ka by 2. What is m of t into C of t? This is a property, modulation property. So this is what happens? C of f AC into Ka by 2 m of f minus fc plus m of f plus fc. Correct? Now what is the C of f? Two impulses at fc and at minus fc with a strength or amplitude AC by 2 AC by 2. So these two are first C of f, this one and this one. So this one is the first C of f, these are for C of f. It is over, it is done already. Now next we should draw m of f minus fc, m of f plus fc. What do you mean by that? Right shifted, left shifted by frequency fc. You shift this towards right side by fc amount. What happens here? 0 becomes fc, this becomes fc minus omega, this becomes fc plus omega. So same thing happened here. This is a left shift. So this is AC Ka by 2, AC Ka by 2 and m of 0. M of 0 was the maximum amplitude of this signal into AC into Ka by 2. Why? Because this is AC into Ka by 2. So this is the spectrum of your AM signal. This is a spectrum. Is it okay? Now, here what is the bandwidth now? What is the bandwidth now? Take positive side. Fc plus W, Fc plus omega, here Fc minus omega. So what is this length? 2 omega. So the bandwidth of AM modulated signal is 2 W. Okay. And here we have some components here. What are they? So what is this? What is this impulse? This is nothing but a pure carrier. Pure carrier means carrier which is not modulated. Okay, so if you go back to the equation, actually, what are you transmitting? Okay, so if you look at this S of t, you are transmitting C of t is Ka into m of t into C of t. Okay, so this equation contains this term also. This is a pure carrier or unmodulated carrier. Now this term is modulated. So basically what is modulation? How to work for modulation? You take message signal, you take carrier, multiply both. That is basic modulation. That is also called modulation property. Okay, in AM, so after doing multiplication, we are adding a pure carrier. Is it okay? No. So in the spectrum also, you will get this pure carrier at Fc and at minus Fc with the amplitude AC by 2. Here also AC by 2. Okay. Now, so this is the shifted version. This is the right shifted version of your message spectrum. This is the left shifted version of your message signal. Now here we have two parts. So this is called upper sideband. This is called upper sideband. And this is called lower sideband. Upper sideband is denoted as USB. Lower sideband is denoted with LSB. Same thing here also. Okay, this upper sideband is a lower sideband. Okay, so here, so the spectrum of AM contains three components. This is the first component known as upper sideband. This is another component called as lower sideband. And we have a carrier component at Fc. This is called a pure carrier or unmodulated carrier. So these are the three components that are present in the spectrum of our message signal, spectrum of our AM signal. What are they? Upper sideband, lower sideband, a carrier component at Fc. Okay. Now, so now here, what is the bandwidth? Transmission bandwidth. Okay. So let us take three major components. Carrier component it's Fc, lower sideband from where to where? Fc minus omega to Fc. Where to where? This is a lower sideband. From where to where? Fc minus omega to Fc. Okay. Upper sideband from where to where? Fc to Fc plus omega. So what's the bandwidth of AM? 2 omega. What is omega? Bandwidth of message signal, which means, so the bandwidth of AM signal is twice the bandwidth of your message signal. Is it okay? Right? So is it good or bad? Anyone? Is it good or bad? We answer. Is it good or bad? Okay, which means, so we have a signal of bandwidth W or omega. So to transmit that signal, we need a channel of bandwidth. How much? 2 omega. Twice the bandwidth of your message signal. Okay, so why it is so? It is not at all good. It is not desirable. Okay, to transmit a signal of bandwidth omega, you need a channel of bandwidth 2 omega. Okay, so that is not at all good. That is not desirable at all. Okay, so if you observe the spectrum, what's happening in the spectrum? Can you tell me what is the bandwidth of upper sideband? Only upper sideband. What is that? What is that? W. Okay. So what is the bandwidth of the lower sideband? Also W. Which means each sideband contains the entire information about the message signal. Okay. Both sideband, both contains same information. Both sidebands are identical. Which means we are transmitting our message twice. Our message is being transmitted 2 times. Why? Because if you observe this upper sideband, it is having a bandwidth of W. Lower sideband also bandwidth of W, which means each sideband contains entire information about message signal. We are transmitting 2 sidebands, which means we are transmitting our message signal twice. That's why here we are requiring twice the bandwidth of message signal. So the bandwidth required to transmit AM is twice the bandwidth of message signal because you are transmitting twice. Same information is being transmitted 2 times. Okay. So here simply it is enough to transmit one sideband because each sideband has a bandwidth of W, which means that is equal to bandwidth of message signal, which means each sideband contains entire information about message signal. Okay. So that is one of the drawbacks of this AM. Correct? Right. So that's why you are getting twice the bandwidth of message signal. Okay. Okay. It is also called as double sideband AM. Simply you can say AM, or you can also call it as a double sideband AM. Why? Because it's got 2 sidebands, upper sideband and lower sideband. Okay. So why I am stressing about bandwidth is, what's the bandwidth? First of all, I told you this on the first class itself. What is the bandwidth? What is the importance of bandwidth? Anyone? What is the bandwidth? Importance of bandwidth? What is that? It is a communication resource, which means you must use it properly. Okay. So you have to preserve the bandwidth of a channel. Now, so till now we have drawn the spectrum of an AM signal, typical AM signal or a general AM signal. Okay. Now let us draw the spectrum of single tone AM signal. Single tone AM signal. So what is single tone definition? Obviously you know already. Single tone means having m of t equal to am cos omega mt. Correct? Now if it is so, how does the spectrum look like? Okay, if that is m of t, what is s of t? S of t equal to singleton AM equation, AC into 1 plus mu cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Now, can you take this Fourier transform for this signal? Can you take the Fourier transform for this signal? What do you get? Can anybody tell me? So otherwise, before that, so let us write it separately. S of t equal to, what is this? AC cos omega ct. I'm writing separately, plus AC mu into, yes, AC mu into, what do you get here? Cos omega mt into cos omega ct. Okay. Now, so what is cos A into cos B? This is cos A, this is A, this is cos B. What is cos A into cos B? One by two cos A plus B plus cos A minus B. Okay. Now you can write further S of t as AC cos omega ct plus, here I have cos A into cos B. What is A? Omega m into t. What is B? Omega c into t. So what is cos A into cos B? 1 by 2. So already we have AC mu. So be careful. Okay, already we have AC mu. So AC into mu by 2. So open the bracket. Cos of A plus B means what? A plus B means omega m plus omega c into t. Omega m plus omega c into t plus cos of A minus B. What is A minus B? Omega m minus omega c, or reverse also okay. Okay, because cos is always positive, no? So let me write here plus cos of omega c minus omega m into t. So finally, what is S of t is AC cos omega ct plus, what do you get? AC mu by 2 into cos of omega c plus omega m into t plus cos of omega c minus omega m into t. Is it okay? Now to this you will take Fourier transform. You take it, all are constants, which means you get all are impulses. Is it okay? Now, so this is the pure carrier. This is the upper side band. This is the lower side band. Okay. So here 2 pi fc plus fmt. Here 2 pi fc minus fmt. So this is a lower side band, this is upper side band, this is a pure carrier. So this is the S of t of a single tone AM signal. Okay, you take Fourier transform to the signal. Here 3 constants. You get 6 impulses. Why? Because For each cross term, you get two impulses. One is at positive frequency, other one is at negative frequency. So AC cos 2 pi fct. What is the Fourier transform? AC by 2 del of f plus fc plus del of f minus fc. For this, what is the Fourier transform? Already we have AC mu by 2 into 1 by 2, AC mu by 4. So what is the frequency component? Fc plus fm. That's why del of f plus fc plus fm, f minus fc plus fm. So for this also you have two frequency components. Okay. So the last line is a spectrum of single-tone AM signal. All are impulses. Here you don't get triangle. Why? You get triangle if m of f is of triangle shape. Here what is m of t? AM cos 2 pi fmt. What is the Fourier transform of m of f? Impulse. You get shifted versions of impulses. That's it. That's why I told you. I am assuming in this case, I have just assumed that this is the shape of the message spectrum. It could be any other shape. It is just my assumption. It depends upon m of t. If m of t is single tone signal, obviously the spectrum contains impulses, shifted versions of impulses. Now this is your spectrum. You have impulse at fc plus fm, at minus fc minus fm, at fc at minus fc, at fc minus fm at minus fc plus fm. This is what symmetry. Now here this is about spectrum to the positive frequencies. Now this is the upper sideband. This is the lower sideband. This is a pure carrier. Okay. Here all are impulses. Don't get confused. Previously we have impulse as well as triangle. Okay. Here you have impulse as well as a triangle, shifted versions of triangle. Why? Because I have assumed that the spectrum of message is triangle. But here there is no assumption. M of t is given to us. It is specified. So this is the spectrum of single-tone AM signal. What is the bandwidth now? 2 FM. Carrier component at fc, lower sideband at fc minus fm, upper sideband at fc plus fm, and bandwidth is 2 FM. What is FM? That is a message bandwidth or highest frequency component of message signal M of t. Okay, any doubts? Please you can raise now. So we have only 37 members. What happened? It is not good. Okay. Okay, any doubts you can ask me now. Otherwise you can message me. Is it fine or not? Okay. So I think that is about spectrum of our modulated signal, amplitude modulated signal. Okay. Now here, so the two sidebands contain identical information. Okay, they are same. Okay, so this is about spectrums. Now let us get into the demodulation of amplitude modulation. We have done with modulation. Okay, so how we done modulation? What you have done in the modulation? So the equation is very simple. S of t equal to C of t plus Ka m of t into C of t. Okay, so this is you have taken m of t and multiplied with C of t, and this is Ka, and to this we have inserted a pure carrier. We have inserted a pure carrier to this term. This is how AM is generated. Okay. Now, so here let us look at the demodulation. This is about modulation. Now, what is demodulation? As I told you already, demodulation is reverse of modulation. So, where we can recover message signal from the transmitted signal. Now, what do? We take message signal, we keep it on the carrier amplitude, we do it like this, and we transmit over a channel. We transmit S of t. Okay. So, what we receive? Here we receive S of t. So, from S of t, we should get back what? M of t. That is a demodulation, reverse. Okay, what is the modulation? So, modulation means M of t, from M of t, we should generate S of t. This is the modulation. In demodulation, what do we do next? After modulation, we transmit it over a channel. Okay, so what we receive? S of t. From S of t, we should get M of t. Reverse. This is called demodulation. So, recovering a message signal back from the transmitted signal is called demodulation. Okay. Now, how to demodulate AM signal? First of all, this is a process of recovering message signal from the received modulated signal. It is opposite of modulation. Okay. Now, this is the typical demodulation block diagram. So, input to the demodulator is modulated signal or modulated carrier. So, here what is the input to the demodulator? AM signal, amplitude modulated signal or carrier. First of all, what is the amplitude modulation? So, the amplitude of the carrier changes according to the amplitude of the message signal linearly, or message signal modulates the amplitude of the carrier. Okay, that is the definition. Okay, so by taking this as input, you must get message signal as output. It is called demodulated signal or message signal. Okay. Now, as we know that in AM, envelope follows message signal. Envelope E of t is proportional to message signal M of t under certain conditions. What is the condition? What is the condition? The condition is whenever mu is less than 1, whenever mu is less than or equal to 1, our envelope follows message signal linearly. Which means, so if you get envelope, it also means that you got your M of t. Okay, so that's why what we do here is we extract envelope. Extract envelope from the received signal. So by getting envelope, you can get message signal back under these conditions. So, but if mu is more than 1, what happens? Envelope does not follow message signal. It is proportional to mod of M of t. Okay. Now, so whenever mu is more than 1, envelope does not follow message signal. But whenever mu is less than or equal to 1, envelope is proportional to M of t. So if you get envelope, you can get your message signal back. Okay. So by using this condition cleverly, we have designed the demodulator of the AM. That is called envelope detector or diode detector. By name itself indicates it will detect the envelope of input signal, given input signal. So whatever you give it to you, okay. Suppose to this envelope detector, if you give this signal, output will be envelope of that signal. Okay. So detects envelope of the transmitted signal to recover the message signal. It works only whenever mu is less than or equal to 1. So envelope demodulator produces an output signal that follows the envelope of the input AM signal exactly. It is used in the all commercial AM receivers. Okay, this is about demodulation of AM. Now this is a block diagram of or circuit diagram of envelope detector. It is very, very simple. Okay. Now, so what it contains? It contains very basic elements like resistor, capacitor, and a diode. Okay, so input to the in the shortest form, it is also called ED. ED means envelope detector. The acronym for envelope detector is ED. Okay. Now, input is a modulated AM signal. Output should be our message signal. That is nothing but demodulation. Okay. So this is the simplest circuit of ED. Okay. Now, so we have a non-linear device that is called diode here. So here we know already diode conducts. Let us take its ideal diode. When it is forward bias, reverse bias. So when it is forward biased, so this is a P side, this is a N side. Let us take. Okay. So when the diode is forward biased, so let us take its ideal diode. Okay. When it will be forward biased, when the diode will be forward biased, yeah. So whenever P side is positive or P side is more than N side. Okay. So in the forward bias, you can replace diode with what? Ideally, short circuit. Okay. In forward bias, diode can be replaced with the short circuit ideally. Now it will conduct. It is a switch now, on off switch. So whenever P side is less than N side, diode will be reverse bias. In reverse bias, you can replace diode with open circuit. So diode won't conduct. Okay. So now, so let us do the operation. Here we have a capacitor and resistor. It is called load resistor. It's called a load resistor. Now, so here yes. Now, so let us take this is the input to the ED. This is S of T. Okay, the basic operation is it is a diode. Assume that it is ideal. So it will be forward biased when P side is more than N side. P side voltage is more than N side voltage. In a forward bias, you can replace diode with short circuit and it's conducting. So whenever P side is less than N side, obviously diode will be reverse bias. In reverse bias, you can replace diode with open circuit and diode won't conduct. Okay. Now it is a very simple circuit. Now what happens? So let us assume that this is the input to the above circuit. Okay. So suppose we are applying this voltage. Okay. Before that, initially assume that capacitor is uncharged. Okay, it is not charged. So the voltage across this capacitor is 0. Initially the voltage is 0. Let's assume that. So when you apply this signal, which is a positive, I am starting from 0. Okay. When you apply this voltage, what happens? P side is positive, some positive voltage, N side is 0 voltage. What happens? Diode will be forward biased. In forward bias, you can replace diode with short circuit. Then what happens? So this source is connected to the circuit. Then what happens? This is the path you get. Now this capacitor starts charging. Okay. So whenever diode is forward biased, the source is connected to this capacitor. Capacitor starts charging. It charges like this. Okay, doing positive half cycle. Suppose after this point, okay, be careful here. Now we are here. So capacitor charged to this point. Okay, let us take this is maximum, some value Vm. Some value Vm. Okay. Now capacitor charged to Vm. Yeah, you can ask me. Any doubts? Someone has raised hand now. Who is that? You can ask me. Okay. So capacitor, this capacitor is charged to Vm. Vm is the peak of this signal here. Okay. Peak of positive half cycle. Now, so capacitor is at this voltage Vm. Okay. Then what is happening? Suppose you are applying this signal. Here. Input is here. Okay. So P side is this voltage. N side is having Vm voltage. This voltage. Okay. So here this is a maximum voltage. Okay, Vm. That's the maximum voltage, V maximum. Okay. So capacitor charge up to this point. Okay. So now whenever you apply this voltage as input, okay, P side voltage is this voltage. But this N side already capacitor charged to what voltage? Vm voltage. So here then what happens? P side will be less than N side. So whenever P side is less than N side, this diode will be reverse bias. It will be open circuited. Now when it is open circuited, what happens? The source will be detached from this entire circuit. Then what happens? This capacitor discharges through the load resistance. Now this capacitor is charging up to this point, and after this point there will be reverse bias. It is discharging. Let us assume that it is discharging slowly. Is it okay? It is charging like this, and after this point the diode is reverse biased. Okay, the source is disconnected from the remaining circuit. Capacitor discharges like this. Okay, now we are at this point. Now this is the voltage across capacitor N side. Now when you apply this voltage, again what happens? Capacitor, this diode will be forward biased, and again capacitor starts charging. It charges up to this portion. Again it is reverse biased. Again capacitor discharges. Again charges. Again discharges. Charges and discharges. Charges and discharges. This continues. Okay. So this is how you get the envelope from this above circuit. Is it okay? Now it is discharges between positive half cycles. Okay. Now this is about simple operation of envelope detector. So this is input to the ED. Okay. When the diode is on, it is charging. When diode is off, it is discharging. So this is how you get the output across the ED. Now principle of operation. So just now I explained the operation. So let me go through briefly. In every positive half cycle of the input, the diode is forward biased and the charge the capacitor to almost the peak value of input voltage. Okay. In every positive half cycle, capacitor charges. Okay, up to peak value of that particular half cycle. Then in the negative half cycle, it discharges. Okay, so capacitor charging, discharging. As soon as the capacitor charges to the peak value, the diode stops conducting because it is reverse biased. The capacitor now discharges through RL between positive peaks. This process continues until next half cycle, next positive half cycle. Okay. Yeah, this is what I explained just now. Now output is proportional to M. Okay. So this operation of envelope detector, charging, discharging of the capacitor. Okay. So during the positive half cycle, capacitor charges. During negative half cycle, capacitor discharges. Okay. So this is about more or less you get envelope of the given signal. Okay. But I told you, so this charging should be moderate. Okay. Discharging should be moderate. Sorry. This is discharging. Discharging should be moderate. Okay. So here, if you look at the circuit, what do you get? So whenever diode is reverse bias, okay. So this is open circuited. You have a circuit like this: a capacitor in parallel with a resistor. This is RCC. Now, what is the time constant of this RC filter? Tau. What is the time constant now? Tau equal to RC. Now, this is a discharging path. Okay, this is how discharges. Tau equal to RC. What is RC? Discharging time constant. Okay. Tau equal to RC is too small. Means the time constant is small, which means it discharges within short time. Which means it discharges fastly. If it is discharging fastly, something like this will happen. Something this will happen. What will happen if it discharges fastly? What happens? So if it is discharging fastly, instead of this moderate, you get like this. Very fastly, discharging very fastly. That is the problem of having smaller time constant. If time constant is small, if it is small, discharging rate will be more or fast. Yes, it discharges very fastly. So that is the problem. Okay. Suppose another case. If tau is large, time is more, which means it is taking more time to discharge, which means it is discharging slowly. If it is discharging slowly, you may get like this. Okay, what happens? If it is discharging slowly, what may happen? What may happen? You may get like this. Okay, so let me take this figure. Okay, not getting anyway. So here, what happens? Let me explain here. Suppose if the discharging time constant is small, means it discharges fastly. Okay, means what happens here? It may discharge like this fastly. If the discharging time is more, which means it takes more time to discharge, which means it is discharging slowly. What may happen? It may discharge like this, slowly. So if it is slow, we are missing these variations. Okay, so we are missing this in between amplitude variations. So you are getting here to here directly. These two are missing. Okay, so that's why the discharging time constant should neither be too small, neither be too large. It should be moderate. What the moderate value of discharging time constant? RC, it should be between 1 by Fc to 1 by Fm. That is a constraint for ED. ED works perfectly alright if and only if tau, that is a RC. It is between 1 by Fc less than or equal to less than RC less than 1 by Fm. This is one of the conditions to be satisfied for the faithful reproduction of your message signal at the end of the envelope detector. So this is a design specification. You must design your envelope detector such that its time constant RC should be between 1 by Fc and 1 by Fm. It should be moderate. It should be neither be too small, neither be too large. So this is something you need to remember. This is one of the important things to remember when it comes to envelope detector. Okay, so here, so the envelope detector works fine. if and only if time constant is taken care of. It should be between 1 by Fc into 1 by Fm. What is RC? The discharging time constant of the given above circuit. Okay. So if you look at a circuit, it is very simple and very cheap. It contains basic elements: a resistor, a capacitor, a diode. Nothing more than that. Okay. Now, so let us take some of the things. Advantages. It is a low cost because it makes use of simple basic elements. Yeah, it is very simplicity. It is very simple to implement. Okay, because it doesn't need any setup. Okay. Now you might have seen this kind of radios. They call AM radios. AM radios means amplitude modulated radios. Which means in that radios you receive signals which are amplitude modulated. This is AM receiver. It contains envelope detector. You might have seen this kind of radios receiver sets. Okay. Now, so one of the drawbacks of ED is it cannot demodulate AM signal whenever what? Mu is more than 1. Okay. It can demodulate AM if and only if mu is less than or equal to 1. If mu is more than 1, you cannot demodulate using envelope detector. What is the reason? Well known to us. So this is the amplitude of the modulated signal. This is the envelope. Envelope is proportional to mod of m of t. That's why you cannot demodulate by using ED. So what is happening here? So the message signal is rectified. Okay. So it is something like rectification. You might have seen these things already. What are you getting? You're getting something like this. So these portions are rectified. These portions are rectified. You know already rectifier, full wave rectifier. What is the output of full wave rectifier? Something like this only. So these portions are rectified whenever mu is more than 1. That's why it cannot be demodulated by using envelope detector. Okay. Anyway, so thank you. We stop here. Any doubts? You can ask me.